All right, we got podcast number 2 of the medicine game, and back here, this is Chad Zanotti. We have Tom Muldoon, and we have a very special guest, Mr. Ira, on here, who's going to share his story with regard to this game and how it's impacted his life. Real quick, Ira grew up in Buffalo, New York, outside of Buffalo, New York. He played the game of lacrosse his entire life. It was an integral part of his upbringing. Currently played through junior high school, currently lives in New Mexico. And I'm excited about hearing his story with regard to the culture and just living within the game his whole life. So, Ira, thank you so much for coming on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
So, when were you introduced to the game that you can remember?
I've had a stick in my hand since I could walk, since I was a baby. Yeah. Literally, like from the time I was born, pretty much. And sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead.
And that's basically how a lot of my friends and cousins back home were raised too. It's because it's like you were saying, it's so integral to Haudenosaunee culture and our way of life that's how a lot of the boys are raised back home. Is just you have a stick. A lot of boys are born now and in the past, and it's a tradition to have a mini wooden stick in their cradle with them, when they're born. So that's how important it is to us.
And you mentioned before, when you first meet someone, you have a very special introduction, a very special greeting. Can you mind sharing that greeting again?
Yeah, I just like to say, Nawascano Suagwego, Songa Sniga Songweka. And what that means is I'm thankful you're all well. Songayas was the name I was given in the Longhouse, in the Seneca Longhouse in my language. And just my English name is Ira, and that's just how I introduce myself. It's the way I was raised, is the way I was taught. So just that's part of, like you were saying, it's so integral to my identity as well, that my language, and carrying that with me wherever I go and sharing that with people, just to let them know who I am and what I'm carrying with me. So, yeah.
And one thing, Chad, I want to say, hearing Ira talk, he says Haudenosaunee people, and that's a term that I didn't hear until I started hanging out with Ira and Frank and Angie. Because growing up, you hear Iroquois, which is, I believe, a French word.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and so, you're not even Iroquois, you're Haudenosaunee, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And there's that issue too with being having our language and our ways, and then having to kind of wade through the water there with terms like that. It's like lacrosse is also French term too. Yeah, it's not our word for in Seneca. It's te wa out. And what my grandfather told me is that it just means, it has to do with a hook stick. All it means is that's what it has to do with lacrosse. That's all it means, is te wa out. Has to do with the stick. And I think in Onondaga, I don't know how to say it, but it has to do with bumping hips. That's all it means. Is there's this romanticized version of lacrosse where it has to be like a little brother of war. It has to do with a lot of people associate it with violence, but for us, it's a medicine game, and for us, it's meant to heal. It's meant to bring people together. It's meant to connect us. So it's doing this and being able to share, a little bit of my background here with you guys is great, because it helps break through that barrier we have sometimes where a concept is taken and it's just kind of somebody else runs with it. And right now, a lot of what people back home and what I'm trying to do here, and a lot of my friends are trying to do, is reclaim that and kind of bring the game back to its roots and what it means to us, and then help spread that message, share that message, and let people know that it has so much value to us, and it's so sacred to us, and we need to step up and take care of it. We call it the creator's game, and it's a gift from the creator, and we're supposed to take care of the game. And when we play, we're playing for his pleasure. And it doesn't have to do with winning or losing. It has to do with doing your best, being the best human being you can be on and off the field. And I think that's why it's so important that we're brought up with this game, is because it means that exactly. It means to be the best you can be. It means best human being, the best teammate, the best friend, the best family member. Always giving, always giving yourself fully, and having that lesson ingrained within me from a young age is just so essential. It was so yes, it's so essential, and it's what I still have with me today, and it's why I think a lot of what I've accomplished in life has come to be, is because of not just lacrosse, but just our whole way of life, and our whole way of being back home. So
it's funny that you mentioned that, because before you even shared that, I was going to ask the question of, you just chat with you for what, 3-4 minutes now. You seem like a person of integrity, a person of character, and I don't think I'm wrong by that guess. And just noting that the game was a root for that character, was a root for your demeanor, is pretty powerful. And was it aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents, or was it further down the line that influenced you with regard to the person that you are today through the game?
It was definitely like mostly my grandfather, primarily my grandfather. He is 89 years old, and we were just talking about this before we went on. He played in a Masters tournament, 40 and older, guys, no checking kind of box lacrosse tournament about 5 years ago, and he was sneaking around to go practice because no one wanted him playing and getting hurt. He's 80-something-year-old man, and he scored, and he's been playing his whole life, and being 80-something and still being able to put the ball in the back of the net is just amazing to me. And so it's him. And growing up, it was my brother. Is quite a bit older than me, but he was a big influence on me, just seeing the way he carried himself, and the way he I never got to see him play when I was younger, but I got to see him play when I was a little older, and just the way he approaches the game as well, that tenacity, that just giving all of himself, and not in a mean way, not in a vicious way. It's just doing whatever he can to get the job done. And growing up with a lot of my friends and my cousins, I learned a lot from them too. How not to be, how not to be. We kind of learn from each other, and so it's so prevalent back home that it's easy to just observe and take from a lot of different sources too. Primarily my friends and family, but watching these legends play growing up, I had the privilege of getting to watch like a lot of great native players growing up. There's Gawa Schindler, Marshall Abrams, Sid Smith, Cody Jamieson, the Thompsons. I was in school at the same time as with Jeremy Thompson. So it's just like it's a privilege to watch these guys play and to learn from them and to see how they carry themselves and the way the game has influenced them and how they approach life through that, and from that, So it's mostly where mostly where I got my start.
And for the younger guys today, I'm talking youth, high school, would you say that it's a good idea for them to not only study film of the Thompson brothers, say, and their play on the field, but also the interviews that they do on ESPN about like what we're doing here, their upbringing and how the game of lacrosse had an impact on them as a baby all the way through life? Do you feel that that's just as important, if not more important?
I think it's almost more important at this juncture. It's they're doing a lot of great work, like what we were talking about just a few minutes ago, trying to bring the game back to what it's supposed to be about. And they have such a acute understanding of their position in the world and their response. It's a lot on. I think it's a lot on their shoulders. Especially they're the it guys. They're the spokesmen. They're the ones carrying the flame right now, the torch right now, and they're carrying themselves in such a way that it's not weighing on them, and they have such a good way of going about it that's it's telling that it's not weighing on them. It's empowering. That you can tell that they're sharing this message, out of the good of their heart, out of the goodness of their being. So I think it's like you're asking, I think it's even more important that kids start paying attention to their message as well as their play on the field, because I think the two complement each other so much that it's a noticeable, it's a really, it's a really noticeable thing. I don't think they'd be playing at the level they're playing at now if they didn't have that understanding. You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly. It's separable. It's
the interviews that I've seen recently of the Thompson brothers, anyway, it's in a word, they exude gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And they know where they are, and they know that they have tons of endorsements coming at them all over the place. Every team wants them to play for them, with them, but they seem deeply grateful for where they are. And what's unfortunate is you see some professional athletes go into their year 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they lose sight of that. They lose sight of the gratitude and where they are. And it just doesn't seem that, I agree with you 100%. It doesn't seem like that will occur here because of the culture, because of how they're brought up and how rooted they are to family and how rooted they are to the people who built the foundation for their life.
Yeah.
So, and it's not, I agree, it's not weighing on them. It's not it's almost like it's there and they're just meshing with it, as opposed to it being there and it being a stressful thing. They're kind of meshing with it, and they just want to educate. They want to teach and help others find out what this game is about at its roots.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know for them and for me and a lot of guys that have that upbringing, or not even just us, not even just native players, other guys who come in and get to play this game. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to play this game, and especially with them, they above all, recognize that and know that. And I think that's a lot, like you're saying, that gratitude, that gratitude is in there. It's inherent in them, and it's inherent in a lot of us, and that's just the kind of thing we'd like to share. It's the kind of that's the kind of way we'd like to carry ourselves and show the world that this is to us. To us, this is a medicine game. This is something a little higher than a little higher up on the chain to us than other sports. Not saying ours is better or anything like that. It's just like us is it's so much more to us that it takes on a life of its own.
The meaning is very deeply rooted, and I keep using that term, but there is a root system to this game that if you're looking at the the tree that sprouted up, you're only going to see so much. You got to take a look at that root system. And I think that's what this whole, what this podcast is becoming, is just a conversation of, that root system beneath the ground and where it's all coming from. So Ira, that gentleman next to you speaks very, very highly of you. And I'm really interested in finding out how you guys met up and kind of connected. And if you guys don't mind sharing, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, it was at the Santa Fe Prep practice. Yep. So we both actually moved to Santa Fe about 8 months ago. Separately, we had no idea who each other were. And we both reached out to the local Santa Fe youth program to see if we could volunteer and help in any way. And the one day where it matched up with my schedule to go just help out with the young kids, Ira was there, and he had his wooden stick, and right away I was like, oh my gosh, how do we find someone like this here? This is amazing. And I did my spiel and talked to the kids, and at the end I went up and first told the kids how lucky and how fortunate they were to have someone like Ira who is from the culture that created the game, someone who is that in tune with the true nature of the sport at their practice, and afterwards just went up and started talking, and that's something, Chad, you and I have talked about, is how in the lacrosse community you can talk with anyone. It's not like other groups or other games, the second you look into the eyes of another lacrosse player, there's a connection that happens. We share something, and that's the place where a friendship can grow from. And that's kind of what happened. That's what I would say is happening with us. Yep. From that day, we just hang out.
Oh, a match made in heaven, man.
Yeah, dude.
And it's pretty amazing what occurs. And there's something at work within this game that is unlike any other game on this planet. And I see it in the eyes of youth that I work with. I see it in the high schoolers that I work with. And even the college guys and the pros, you have this aura that is of a solid character. I mean, everyone has challenges, let's face it, in their personality traits. No one's perfect. But when it comes to the game of lacrosse, I think it's the foundation of character is such that you meet someone and it is that bond, and that you have a certain skill set that is tough to gather. It's tough to learn. And if you got it, you share that, and it's an instant bond. And it's, we're guys on here, but it occurs in the girls' game too. Our girl program at the high school that I work at, it's the same idea where their program is building, and it's the same type of bond. The teams that they play, they get out on the field and they work hard. Each team works hard. They hammer each other. The high school guys work hard. They get out and they're pushing each other like you'd expect to see on a lacrosse field. But when all said and done at the end of the game, in a word, you're looking for that unity. And Tom, you and I have talked about this, is, after the game is complete, you're there playing the game for the creator, and the outcome is unity, a unity between all those guys in the field, the coaches, the fans. And we want to move away from, it seems, maybe some other sports have come where it's just this bucking head competition where it infuses this negative energy into the environment, where the game of lacrosse, my vision is that it becomes something. I think you hit the nail on the head, Ira. It's almost a being of its own. You follow me? Where, you got an awesome battle going on in the field, but then when all is said and done, end of the game, you got the fans. All the fans are intertwined, and they all cheered everyone on. I mean, it seems like a different egg.
Yeah.
I have a question for both of you, and this kind of just popped in my head. What would you suggest to players who on the field, and this is more of a lacrosse, skill-based question, who on the field, they're great. They're awesome. They will put up 3-4 goals on the board. Maybe don't pass as much as they probably could. And when it comes to practice, they kind of hang up their shoes. and they don't really want to practice at 100%. So it's just those players who are on the field, they're putting 100% into it because they want to put the ball in the net. Practice, maybe 50, 60%. How would you coach those types of players?
Personally, I would, I think so much like Ira was said when we were talking about the Thompsons and listen to them speak off the field. I think that's where a player like that, a kid who hasn't fully grasped the concept of lacrosse, that's the truth. That kid isn't playing the game. He's playing with his ego, he's playing a sport. He's trying to be the best. And there's nothing wrong with that drive. I think there's an aspect of that that's healthy. Wanting to be the best in all your endeavors, I think is a really healthy inspiration, a healthy drive. In the game, though, for me personally, I'm one of those guys that I actually have more fun on an awesome assist than I do on an awesome goal. I think it feels better to involve others in that celebration and to sit a kid down and say, why are you out here? What's the point? Ask him, what are you trying to do? And don't berate him, don't belittle them, but maybe help them open up a conversation of why we play the game. What is the point of the game? What are we doing out here? Are we out here so that we can play college lacrosse or pro lacrosse or get recruited? Are we out here to connect with other individuals? And I think all of those goals can come together. But if the goal of connection is missed and the goal of honoring the game is missed, Ira hit the nail on the head, in my opinion, when he said he doesn't believe that the Thompsons could be as good as they are if they didn't have that gratitude and reverence. And I think that's very true, especially in the game of lacrosse. If the gratitude for the game, the reverence for the game, the gratitude for the other people around you, your coaches, your families, your whole community, the whole network system in the game itself isn't present, your potential has just become limited.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something along the same lines of the idea of why are you on this field? Not to belittle them, but let them know that what they're doing, if they're not giving 100%, 110% even all the time, what are they trying to accomplish? And it's not respectful to themselves or to their teammates or to the fans or to their coaches, to the game. If you're not going to give all of yourself out there and you're not going to appreciate the time you're allowed on this earth and to do that, to be able to play, then they have to take a hard look at themselves and try and understand, try and figure out what direction they want to go in, for life too. Yeah. Because if you're not going to put in the time outside of when you're on the field, that goes for everything, anything in life is, you got to put in the time if you want to accomplish what you need to accomplish in life. And if you're not going to be willing to do that, at a younger age or at a time when you're trying to just play this sport and it's this fun sport, then how are you going to go about life when it gets tougher, when it gets more difficult, and when the cards are on the table? So that's what I'd say.
Backstep when the challenges hit.
Yeah.
And let's face it, in practice, the time we played pro, and I already played high school. I played up through high school and college. In practice is where the chemistry occurs. Practice is where the team learns about how the other person plays, where they like to sit on the field, where that's where the chemistry starts to occur, and then it unfolds in a game situation when you've learned. So you look at a player who has a lacrosse stick in her or his crib, and versus a player who picks up a stick in 7th or 8th grade, there's going to be a disparity between skill set, but that doesn't mean the 7th or 8th grade player, if they put 110% into this game, in and off the field, in practice, out of practice, on their side yard, thrown against the wall, if they put in 110%, I've seen it. In 1 year, I saw a baseball player who didn't make the the baseball team, this past year came over, played with us, and I get shivers because watching the kid go from practice 1 to the last game of the season, the kid was poised to be our face-off guy for this upcoming year. Because towards the end of the season, we said, all right, go out and try it. He started winning face-offs, had speed, had skill, was holding the ball well, was getting good shots off. Unfortunately, he's moving – fortunate for Long Island, but unfortunate for us, he's moving to Long Island. But just watching him go from point A to point B, there's when you take it serious and you got that 110% in there, not only the individuals, but more importantly, the team is going to have that cohesiveness. And this is – I think you guys are getting a sense of, us three and also the people listening in is you have teaching the origin of this game is essential. So really what it comes down to is any coach who wants to coach the game of lacrosse must themselves learn, right? I believe at least, must themselves learn about the origin of the game.
Absolutely.
Teach about the origin of the game. Use that as the foundation for a skill set, for strength training, for conditioning, for endurance, for teaching the goalies what to do, teaching the face-off guys. This has to be the origin, the foundation of the coaching for a solid, strong, powerful chemistry to occur among the team. Because let's face it, you have a team A plays team B, and team A has the root set. I mean, they're passionate about the game. They're passionate about playing, on the field with each other versus another team who's out there just to hit. They're a football team on a lacrosse field. It's going to trickle out because of the character of team A. You follow me?
Absolutely.
And it's like a ripple effect. You got a serene lake. You toss a stone into a serene lake. What's going to happen? Those ripples they travel throughout the entire lake. And that's where this sport can go when we have that root of gratitude, that root of chemistry, that root of working at 110% for the love. I mean, it's a phrase we've heard before, but for the love of the game.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that goes to a lot of guys that show up and put in the work, love this game so much because, someday even the best players aren't going to make millions upon millions of dollars. It's not about the money. It's not about, the recognition. It's about the love of the game. And I think by bringing the message from back home and what the game is about to that will help cultivate that love even more. It's already there. It's already within a lot of these players out there, and just sharing that message with them and letting them know that this game goes even deeper and goes back, so long and so far that it'll help bolster them. And it should, I'd hope it empower them and let them know that they're carrying on, something that's been going on for thousands of years, and it's good to know that this message that we're sharing and what we're talking about today is talking about the roots of the game, that it's starting to spread, and it's starting to come back around, full circle, and it feels good, it feels good that message is getting across. And I'm out here in New Mexico trying to do that, in a state that you wouldn't really think of as a hotbed of lacrosse, but I'm here for a reason. I'm here to help spread that word, spread that message, and let these kids know that this is something, something that goes way back, something big that goes back a long ways.
I agree. It's a great energy occurring right now, and I'm excited to share that energy and share how powerful that energy can be, because you look at what's going on in the world. I think the world needs more unity, and what better thing to trigger that unity and ignite that unity than a game that is it's special to us. It's special to thousands, if not millions of people around the globe. And it's bringing something, a special energy to surface for sure. Let me see any other questions I had here. Do you have anything else, Ira, to share? I'm so glad we got you on today. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. This is great. I'm not sure. Think about covered a wide swath here today.
Yeah, we covered a bunch of stuff. Man.
yeah, it was great.
Definitely did. And how about Tom? Anything that's come to your mind as we've been chatting here, even if it's to the younger guys? Anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I think kind of going back, I've been sitting here thinking about what you said about that player who is having trouble finding the inspiration or is afraid to give all they have in practice. And, for me, anytime I have the stick in my hand, I'm excited and I get to play. To separate a game from practice, I think is missing the point. The bottom line is anytime you have a stick in your hand, whether it's by yourself next to a brick wall or it's in front of 60,000 people in the national championship, the bottom line is lacrosse is being played. And anytime you're at practice, you're surrounded by friends, lacrosse is being played. Play lacrosse. Don't sit out. Don't wait just for the game and try to score your goals so that the tally mark at the end of the season has a lot of checks. Play the game 100% all the time because it's fun, because it's medicine, because it makes you feel better. It makes me feel better. It makes everyone who plays it feel better. Otherwise, we wouldn't. And that's what I would say. I'm also super grateful for Ira to just coming out and just sharing that truth. Every time I hear Ira talk, I get goosebumps. I do. I'm like, it's not even cold out, but I'm shivering over here. So I appreciate it, man. And thank you, Chad, for hosting this again. It's been awesome talking about the medicine game.
Yeah, maybe we'll get your if he's open to it, maybe we'll get your grandpa on for even just a few minutes to say hi.
Yeah, maybe somewhere's down the road. He still lives back home, but
we can get him on one of these. Get him on a Zoom call.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. She's not too tech savvy.
We'll have
maybe for the Florida camp.
Yeah.
We'll get him on Zoom.
We'll get an assistant for him or something. A quote that we have up on our wall right here, and it comes to practice. This is a life quote. When you do the right thing, everything else falls into place. And that goes for, we talked about if you're putting forth 100, 110%, everything else is going to fall into place. The goals are going to come. And you said, Tom, assisting that goal where you pull three guys towards you, you're triple, you got three guys on you, and you over the back to the front of the net, the guy scores. I mean, that's there's nothing like that because he's wide open in front of the net. Yeah, he got the goal, but who did all the work? And lacrosse is really a game of assists more than goals. Yeah. Yes, you got the one-on-one with the goalie, or you got some one-on-one plays where he dunks it, but it's the assist is where it all happens in lacrosse, and I think that's another thing that makes the game real special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But awesome, guys! I appreciate this and look forward to keeping this energy up, and we'll be posting these videos so people can watch. And I tell you, since our first conversation, Tom, I'm getting more and more excited about, the season doesn't hit till March. I can't officially work with you guys till March, but our Facebook page is loaded with, lacrosse culture, and I'm real excited. And I mean what I said before about having the foundation of coaching be the origination of this game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, Chad, do you mind if I add something?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. We've been talking about medicine game all day, and I don't think I really talked about it from my perspective fully. When we say that, it's exactly what we mean. For Haudenosaunee people, we've been playing this game for thousands of years, and when we say medicine game, that's exactly what it is. It's played for the health of the people. It's played to bring people together. We have games even today with our wooden sticks and a field and two wooden stumps on either side. It's not glamorous like it is out here in this outside world today. It's how it was played back in the day, and it's we still carry it on. We still do it. We carry on the legacy that we've been gifted, and we take care of the game. And when we walk on the field in any capacity, that's what we carry with us, and that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to lift our spirits. It's supposed to lift the creator spirits. And they say even when you pass away, a lot of men who played are buried their lacrosse sticks. And when you get up there to the sky world, you're the captain that day, and you play, with everyone who's up there already, everyone you knew, all the men, all the men and boys up there, play. So it's like we've been saying, this whole time, it's something bigger, it's something greater, So I just wanted to share that little bit with you guys.
It's cool. And I don't know if you realized, but when you started talking about them playing the game upstairs, the sun started shining on you guys.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
That's pretty
Someone's
neat, man.
listening. Yeah, someone's listening for sure.
That's cool, man. Well, hey, I thank you both for your time.
Oh yeah,
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, thanks.
And have a great rest of the day.
You too, Chad.
You too. Peace, bud.